Stop. Forget the fairy tales about weak, slow steam engines. You are about to witness the true monsters of the road that history tried to bury. Imagine a truck running on fire and boiling water, hauling 20 tons and overtaking modern cars on the highway. These aren't toys. They are the most powerful and dangerous steam wagons ever built. From the silent speed assassin, the Sentinel S4, to the track-laying beast that gave birth to the military tank. These iron titans possess torque that would rip a modern diesel engine apart. Why did they vanish? Buckle up, smash that subscribe button right now, and let's unleash the raw, explosive power of the forgotten steam giants. We begin our journey with the Foden 5-ton, a machine that is widely considered the gold standard of British steam engineering. Visually, it defines the classic overtype layout, meaning the steam engine itself is mounted directly on top of the boiler, completely exposed to the elements. This design makes it look like a miniature railway locomotive that has been adapted for the road. The placement wasn't just aesthetic. By keeping the cylinders directly on the boiler, the steam traveled a very short distance, remaining superheated and energetic. It was a rugged, no-nonsense design that set the benchmark for reliability in the early 20th century, becoming the backbone of heavy industry transportation. Mechanically, the Foden was a masterpiece of thermal efficiency. It utilized a compound steam engine system, which was highly advanced for its time. In this setup, steam is used twice, first in a high-pressure cylinder and then expanded again in a larger low-pressure cylinder to squeeze every ounce of energy from the burning coal. Power was delivered to the rear wheels via a massive singular drive chain that could withstand immense tension. While its top speed was often limited to around 12 to 20 miles per hour to protect the solid rubber tires, its torque was virtually limitless. The driver had to be a skilled engineer, managing the coal fire while steering a heavy iron beast. The legacy of the Foden 5-ton lies in its incredible durability and widespread adoption. It proved to the world that steam wagons could be practical, reliable daily workers, rather than just experimental novelties. These trucks hauled everything from heavy quarry stone and brewery barrels to industrial machinery across rough cobblestone roads. Even today, many Fodens survive in preservation, and enthusiasts still drive them. The rhythmic chuff-chuff sound of a Foden exhaust is the heartbeat of the Industrial Revolution. It stands as a testament to an era when trucks were built to last for generations, offering a raw mechanical connection between man and machine that modern automatic trucks simply cannot replicate. If the Foden was the standard, the Yorkshire steam wagon was the weird, innovative rebel of the group. One look at the front of this vehicle and you immediately notice the bizarre design. Instead of a longitudinal boiler running the length of the truck, the Yorkshire features a unique double-ended transverse boiler mounted sideways across the front chassis. This gave the truck a distinct pug-nosed appearance, with the exhaust chimney rising uniquely out of the side casing. This wasn't just an eccentric style choice. It was a brilliant engineering solution designed to solve specific problems that plagued standard steam wagons, particularly regarding vehicle length and weight distribution in crowded urban environments. The technical advantage of the transverse boiler was significant for handling steep gradients. In a standard long boiler, when the truck climbed a steep hill, the water would rush to the back, potentially leaving the firebox tubes at the front exposed and prone to melting. The Yorkshire's sideways boiler kept the water level constant across the tubes regardless of the incline, making it safer for hilly terrain. Additionally, the vertical engine was tucked neatly behind the cab, driving the rear axle. This compact packaging made the Yorkshire significantly shorter than its competitors, allowing it to navigate tight city corners and small loading docks where longer wagons like the Foden would get stuck. Despite its clever design, the Yorkshire steam wagon had a reputation for being tricky to master. The complex boiler internals were difficult to clean, and maintaining optimal steam pressure required a driver with patience and specific skills. However, for those who mastered it, the Yorkshire was a smooth and capable hauler that offered excellent visibility from the driver's seat. Today, it is remembered as one of the most visually unique heavy vehicles ever produced. It represents a time when engineers were willing to completely rethink the rulebook to gain a competitive edge. Seeing a Yorkshire on the road today is a rare treat, a reminder of the diverse innovation in the age of steam. Now we arrive at the absolute pinnacle of steam technology, the Sentinel S4, specifically the surviving model numbered 9009. By the 1930s, Sentinel realized that to compete with the rising tide of diesel trucks, they needed to revolutionize steam power. The S in S4 stands for shaft drive. They completely abandoned the noisy, exposed chains of the past. Instead, this machine utilized a sophisticated drive shaft and differential system, exactly like a modern automobile. The design was sleek, with an enclosed, comfortable cab that protected the driver from the elements, looking far more modern than the primitive iron monsters that came before it. Under the chassis lay a technological marvel, a 4-cylinder, single-acting steam engine mounted horizontally beneath the floorboards. This engine was a beast, running at high pressures and temperatures to deliver staggering performance. Here is the fact that will shock you. The Sentinel S4 was significantly faster than almost any diesel truck on the road at that time. While noisy diesels struggled to hit 30 miles per hour, a well-tuned Sentinel S4 could cruise effortlessly at 45 to 50 miles per hour. It offered the torque of a freight train combined with the smoothness of a luxury car, providing a driving experience that was decades ahead of its competition. The Sentinel S4 9009 proves that steam power didn't die because it was inferior technology. It died due to economics and cheap fuel. Technically, the S4 was superior to early diesels in almost every way. It was quieter, faster, and had fewer moving parts to break. The S4 9009 stands today as a heartbreaking reminder of what could have been. If fuel taxes and regulations hadn't strangled the industry, we might still have high-tech steam trucks on the highways. Watching this machine glide silently past with only a whisper of white steam is to witness the ultimate refinement of the steam wagon before the curtain finally fell on the era. Before the refined speed of the S-Type, Sentinel produced the ultimate workhorse, the DG4. The DG designation stands for double-geared, and this machine was the bridge between the old rugged wagons and the new high-speed eras. Visually, it is instantly recognizable by its boxy, purposeful cab and the vertical boiler, which was a hallmark of Sentinel design. Unlike the S4, the DG4 retained the chain drive system. This was a deliberate choice for durability. In the deep mud of quarries, construction sites, and off-road environments, a heavy chain was easier to repair and less likely to snap than a complex driveshaft system. The double-geared feature was the secret weapon of this truck. It allowed the driver to select between two gear ratios, providing massive low-end torque for starting ultra-heavy loads on steep hills. Powered by a robust 2-cylinder engine, the DG4 didn't care about speed, it cared about pulling power. When the throttle was opened, full torque was available instantly at 0 RPM. This made the DG4 a favorite for short-haul, heavy-duty work where diesel engines would stall or burn out their clutches. It was a machine built to be abused, overloaded, and run into the ground, yet it kept asking for more work. The Sentinel DG4 represents the toughness of the steam era. While the S4 was the racehorse, the DG4 was the draft ox. Thousands of these machines helped build the infrastructure of the 1920s and 30s. They were often seen covered in coal dust and grime, chugging reliably through conditions that no other vehicle could handle. Today, the DG4 is celebrated for its mechanical simplicity and its distinctive aesthetic. It looks like a locomotive that escaped the tracks to work on the road. It reminds us that sometimes the best solution isn't the fastest one, but the one that simply refuses to break under pressure. As industries expanded, the demand for moving heavier goods over longer distances grew, and four wheels were simply not enough. Enter the Sentinel S6, the massive six-wheeled evolution of the advanced S-Type platform. This was a rigid six-wheeler, meaning it had a single long chassis frame sitting on 3 axles. Sentinel took the high-speed technology of the S4 and scaled it up for heavy logistics. The S6 was designed to be a land ship, capable of carrying legal payloads of around 12 to 15 tons, which was a huge amount for a single vehicle in that era, directly challenging the dominance of rail freight. The engineering highlight of the Sentinel S6 was its rear suspension design. To ensure that all four rear wheels maintained contact with the road on uneven surfaces, Sentinel developed a bogie suspension system that allowed the axles to articulate and tilt. Powered by the same whisper-quiet four-cylinder underfloor engine as the S4, the S6 combined heavy lifting capacity with speed. It was used for long-distance trunking, hauling timber, coal, and heavy machinery from city to city. Despite its massive size, features like steam-powered steering and power brakes made it surprisingly agile and manageable for drivers on narrow roads. The Sentinel S6 is a symbol of the ambition of the steam age. It proved that steam power was scalable. You could build bigger, heavier trucks without losing performance. A fleet of Sentinel S6s could offer door-to-door delivery faster and cheaper than a train, changing the logistics landscape of the 1930s. Watching an S6 today is a spectacle of physics. The sheer length of the chassis and the silent, effortless power of the engine make it feel majestic. It represents the peak of rigid steam truck development before the articulated semi-truck design eventually took over the heavy haulage market. If you thought the S6 was big, prepare yourself for the Sentinel DG8. This is a true leviathan of the road, a rigid 8-wheeler steam wagon. It is one of the rarest and most impressive configurations in the history of trucking. The DG8 combined the rugged, chain-driven, double-geared technology with a massive 4-axle chassis. It featured 4 steering wheels at the front and 4 driving wheels at the back. This monster was designed to maximize the weight limits of British roads, capable of carrying payloads approaching 20 tons, a figure that was unheard of for a road vehicle at the time. Driving the DG8 was an art form that required immense skill. The mechanical linkage required to steer 2 front axles simultaneously was complex, and the sheer momentum of a fully loaded 8-wheeler meant braking had to be planned well in advance. Powering this giant was a heavy-duty Sentinel engine, geared down significantly to move massive industrial components like boilers and steel girders. The DG8 was often employed to carry massive single industrial components, such as huge boilers, steel girders, or blocks of stone for construction. It offered stability that no other truck could match. With 8 wheels on the ground, the weight distribution was perfect, preventing it from sinking into softer roads. The Sentinel DG8 marks the zenith of the bigger is better philosophy in steam engineering. It pushed the physical boundaries of what was possible on solid tires. The sight of a DG8 thundering down the road, smoke pouring from the funnel, chains rattling, and 8 wheels churning the earth must have been both terrifying and awe-inspiring to pedestrians. It serves as the ultimate example of heavy engineering before modern hydraulics and diesel power took over. The DG8 remains a legend, a machine so capable that it took diesel trucks nearly 20 years to catch up to its single-load capacity. Not all steam giants carried the load on their backs, some were built to tow it. The Super Sentinel tractor was a dedicated towing unit, essentially the steam-powered ancestor of the modern semi-truck cab. The Super designation referred to significant improvements over the earlier standard models, including a more refined engine and a stronger differential. This tractor was short, compact, and incredibly heavy for its size. Without a long cargo bed, it had a very short wheelbase, allowing it to turn on a dime, making it perfect for maneuvering in cramped rail yards and busy factory floors. The true genius of the Super Sentinel tractor lay in its torque delivery. Steam engines produce maximum torque at 0 RPM. This meant the Super Sentinel could hook up to a trailer weighing 20 or 30 tons and start pulling it smoothly and instantly. There was no clutch to burn, no gears to grind, and no jerking motion. The driver simply opened the regulator and the power flowed like water. This smooth pulling power made them superior to early gas tractors, which often stalled or broke down when trying to start heavy loads from a standstill. They were the agile, tough little powerhouses of the industrial supply chain. Because of their specific utility, many Super Sentinel tractors survived long after long-distance steam haulage had vanished. They remained useful for shunting duties well into the diesel era because they were cheap to run and incredibly robust. They represent the bridge between the crude traction engines of the 19th century and the articulated lorries of today. Watching one of these compact tractors pull a load many times its own size is a lesson in physics and mechanical advantage. They are the unsung heroes of the steam age, doing the heavy lifting in the background while the bigger wagons got all the glory. Finally, we leave the paved roads entirely to witness the most revolutionary machine on this list, the Lombard steam log hauler. Invented by Alvin Lombard in Maine, this vehicle was the first commercially successful tracked vehicle in history. Designed for the brutal winters of the northern US and Canada, wheels were useless. So, Lombard replaced the rear wheels with jagged iron tracks and the front wheels with steerable skis. It looked like a steam locomotive that had jumped off the rails and landed on a tank chassis. This machine was built for one purpose: to haul train-length loads of timber out of frozen forests. Operating a Lombard was a terrifying job. The steersman sat in an exposed seat at the very front of the vehicle, turning a large wheel to angle the skis. He was sitting 20 feet in front of the warm cab, exposed to temperatures of minus 30 degrees, with a massive steaming boiler roaring right behind his back. The engine cylinders powered a drive sprocket that turned the tracks, allowing the Lombard to crawl over snow and ice with unstoppable force. Before this invention, logging was limited by how much a team of horses could pull. The Lombard could do the work of 50 horses, revolutionizing the timber industry overnight. The legacy of the Lombard steam log hauler extends far beyond logging. It literally changed the course of warfare in history. During World War I, military observers saw the Lombard crawling over difficult terrain and realized the potential of the track system. This direct inspiration led to the development of the first armored tanks. Every modern bulldozer, excavator, and military tank owes its existence to this strange steam-powered log hauler from the woods of Maine. It is the ultimate proof that steam power could conquer not just the road, but the wild itself, laying the foundation for all modern off-road machinery. These forgotten giants prove that steam power was far more than just primitive history. From the highway speeds of the Sentinel to the unstoppable force of the Lombard, they were true engineering masterpieces. Diesel may have won the war for convenience, but it never matched the soul of these machines. Which steam titan impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to uncover more lost mechanical legends. Thanks for watching.